And here we are, we're back here. It's Andy Hahn on the broadcast here for We Digital with former Saints athlete Sador Tekli. We just finished our women's race. We're quickly going to get you some women's results and talk about the men. You can see the Gordie Howe Bridge in the background. A phenomenal day here at Malden Park in Windsor, Ontario. We just had our women run, and scheduled for 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 Pacific is going to be our men's race. Fedor, some quick thoughts on the women's race. What really impressed you?
Wow, I really like the phenomenal performance by Leanne from Garneau. She was able to really run that race amazingly.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah, and we just want to quickly show the women's results. We won't miss the men's race. So Garneau College, outstanding running, 1, 2, 5, 10, 12, 15, like an incredible performance. You can see even their non-scoring runners were displacing runners from other schools. St. Foy of Quebec came through there to finish second. They were 1-2 at the Quebec Championship, so you can see them there. The Ontario champion, Mohawk Mountaineers out of Hamilton, they finished in third there with 84 points. St. John de Richaud of Quebec is in fourth, and then Dawson College looks like to be fifth. So those are your top 5 teams. And here's our top 10, which gives you an all-Canadian certificate honors, an outstanding award. You can see 8 of the top athletes from Quebec, 3 from your team champion from Garneau, Baril, Hemel, and Drouin. And then Mette Simons, the Ontario champion out of Sheridan and Toronto, she was 9th. And then Taylor Campen of Seneca College from just north of Toronto and King City was 10th. So those were your top 10 athletes. And here we are. We're going to switch right to our men's race. Here's our OCA results here. We have Matt Talbot, who was our Ontario champion from Fanshawe College, who's also the Ontario Rookie of the Year, first-year athlete. Albert Lantang of Mohawk, who's an extremely fast finisher, so watch for him out there on the second loop here. Ethan Roche of Fanshawe out of London, third. Nathan Paul of Conestoga, fourth. Ty Breeden of Fanshawe, fifth. And your former teammate, Sador, Carter Free of St. Clair College. He's back after a 5-year absence from the sport, but he was the Ontario champion in 2019. The Canadian runner-up, lost by 3 seconds. And there he is back running for the Saints. We'll hope to watch out for him and have a good day. Quickly about Carter Sador, one of your former teammates.
Yeah, Carter's an amazing person. He helped us back in 2019 to a silver medal at Nationals, a silver medal at Provincial as well too. Great guy, great work ethic, and always forward thinking, always likes to challenge himself.
Yeah, so he's back in school in the Powerline Technician program of the Chatham campus. Here's our results from the Alberta Championships. There's your #1 ranked team in the country, and they had a perfect score at the Ontario Championships. The St. Trojans out of Calgary. Places 1, 2, 3, and 4. Outstanding athletes there. Wessa, Jerema, Thiessen, and Sad. The rivals from up the highway there in Edmonton from Nate, Northern Alberta Institute of College, Tyson Verteague was 5th. So some great running out of Alberta, but watch for St. I know they've been a perennial powerhouse in CCAA running for many years. Fedor, back when you guys won in 18 and were runners up in 17, St. Trojans, I think, are always there on the podium. So expect some good things quickly out of St. What you expect to see out of them today.
Exactly, Andy. You know, when Saints won the men's national championship, we only won it by 12 points, and we're that far different from Saints, but they really put on a strong performance, and they've always performed in the past 4 years as well, too. Yeah,
so we'll watch them. Here's our results from the Atlantic Championships from Dalhousie, Zach Comber. They hosted last year's CCAA Championships, so good to see them represented here today. From Crandall University, Luke Purdy I believe they're out of Moncton, Crandall University. Jackson Culberson of Crandall, his teammate, was 3rd. Caleb McPhee of Mount Allison University was 4th, and Crandall was 5th. You can see Crandall, a very strong team. Their 4th runner even came 7th. So watch for them coming out of the Atlantic Championships. And then we'll quickly just talk about, we don't have the results on the screen, but from Quebec, some very strong teams in Quebec. Quebec dominated the women's race, but your top team out of Quebec should be St. Foy. Their women just came 2nd. But they won the team title in 2023, St. Foy, so they were the Quebec champions. 2nd place in Quebec was Garneau, whose team just won. Just won the women's team championship today, and they were 2nd in the team title last year. 3rd is St. Jerome out of Montreal. Lennoxville has a good runners there. Lennoxville is a top returning athlete from last year's championship, Charles Gagnon Jete. He was 3rd in the Quebec championships, but he was 4th last year, just off the podium. So watch for him to do some damage this year. His team from Chicoutimi as an individual, he came 2nd in the Quebec championships, but he'll be the top Quebec athlete here today, Xavier Saint-Ange. Also from Garneau, Elliot Ballon Belanger. He was an All-Canadian last year, 7th here, or not here, but in Dalhousie. He was 7th at the CCAA Championships. He was 5th at the Quebec Championships. And also look out for Francois Bouffard of St. Foy, 4th at the Quebec Championships. So those are some of your top athletes to highlight from Quebec. We're just about 4 minutes away from the start here. 100 athletes in this race. So the women's race, we had 98 athletes, 15 teams. So just a couple more athletes here. 100 athletes, 16 teams. The big difference for the men is they will run 8 kilometers here at Malden Park. So they basically are going to do the women's 6K course after they do a little 2-kilometer loop to start out. The 2-kilometer loop for the men is relatively flat, but then they hit that challenging 6-kilometer course that the women will do here, Theodore. Just talk to us about what the difference is maybe and what going from 6K to 8K presents for the athletes out here today.
Yes, indeed, Andy. You know, when you're running 8 kilometers, it's definitely a lot of pressure, but it also requires a strong mindset. You know, before starting the race, you have this adrenaline, you have a lot of energy, but it's really about being able to pace it, being able to keep it so that you're able to last through that 8K. But with this course that they're doing, there's going to be definitely a lot more hills, a lot more turns, and a lot more just pushing themselves. And so with this 8K, it's going to present a lot of challenges, but also for opportunity for one team and one person to show themselves.
Yeah, and if you joined us for the women's broadcast, we talked about there's one large hill on this course, a couple other challenging sections though. It's a fair course but a hard course here that they've set up here at Malden Park, but about a 400-meter hill in there, and the men will do it twice. But we could see, we saw some good times. Expect to see the men's winner today maybe run in the 25-minute range. Definitely I think in 26 minutes. The wind's picked up a bit here since the women have run, but it's absolutely perfect weather for any time of year, especially the second Saturday in November. We got about 14 Celsius here, a very firm course. We talked about lots of the women's race. Even our top 2 athletes from Garneau commented on it. Very little rain here in Essex County. All fall, so the course is firm, which the athletes like. Great footing, and you could see some of these athletes especially rise to the occasion here. The Garneau athletes talk about being well rested, well prepared, and maybe seeing some athletes run 25.5 minutes, but 3 minutes and 15 seconds a kilometer is hard to do out on a track, out on your road, but out here on this cross-country course, and to do it eight of them in a row. But definitely I would expect to see some times today in the high 25-minute range, maybe even the mid 25-minute rangers. Crandall University, we're just seeing our athletes, they're kind of under starters orders now. The process is they check everybody in, whether you're an individual or team. There's assigned starting boxes on the line where you can start, and you see the athletes, their final cheer here, final preparations. And John Abbott College out of Montreal, you see an athlete there from Lambton College out of nearby Sarnia. So they're making their final preparations. The Stars assistants are checking them in, and then we'll see a white flag go up here from our starter, and then they'll be under starters orders, and then they'll go. There's Sheraton College there from Toronto there on the outside. I'll see Conestoga from Kitchener area, another Ontario school. Conestoga been ranked 7th this year in the CCAA. Again, to highlight our top teams, it's the St. Trojans, an old nemesis of Theodore back in his days when he ran for the Saints. There's a great overhead drone shot here, but look for St. to be very strong. Also, our number 2 ranked team, the Fanshawe Falcons out of London, another strong program always on the OCA and the CCAA. And then our number 3rd ranked team is St. Foy out of Quebec. They just got the silver medal on the women's side, so I think their men, they want to be on the podium too, hey, Theodore?
That's exactly true. That's very true. And this is a race that's really going to test out many people, but at this race it looks like we're about to start, and we'll see who will lead this race.
And here they're off here. We got our time in the corner. This won't be our official meet time, but it's very, very close to what you'll see. We will have official results pop up. We will hopefully get you a split. I don't know if we'll get one at 3K, but definitely maybe at 5 kilometers, and they go over the timing mats. A great drone footage shot here. A wonderful day at Malden Park. Great crowds out here watching the meet. This is the Canadian Championships. We're happy for those of you that couldn't make it here to Windsor today to be broadcasting here on We Digital. About a 200-meter straightaway section here, nice and flat. They'll make a quick little turn, and like I said, the men will have about approximately a 2-kilometer loop they will do, and then they will kind of replicate the rest of the women's course to get them their 8 kilometers. The women ran 6 kilometers today. We'll see the men run 8 kilometers. A great look at this outstanding footage here from We Digital on the drone shot. You can see the entire pack here. This is a slight uphill the athletes are going up. through a little checkpoint there, probably about an 80-meter hill here, I would say, as they're crossing up. Well bunched together here. Got a couple athletes breaking up, then they're going to make a turn here to the right, and they're going to kind of come along here. A great overhead view shot. You can see the fall colors here in the park. Some of the leaves are down, but some are still up there. You see the lead vehicle out there just in front, and here will be our lead vehicle. Kind of hard to see on your monitor. We'll try to get you some athlete identification here. I mean, St. looks to be very strong. Perfect score at their Alberta Championships, and we'll see what's coming through here. Two athletes have kind of broken away early here, and we're only probably 500 meters into the race, Theodore. Maybe not even 500 meters in the race, and already seeing some hard pushing here like the women. So maybe we'll see a good fast time here for our national. There's a great overhead shot again. They're on a flat section here in the one corner of the park. And they'll have a slight little downhill here to get a bit of momentum, and then this is where they're gonna run a little bit different than the women here. Instead of turning and going up the large hill, they're gonna kind of go straight for a short section here, and just trying to add on a little bit of distance here in your and kind of I guess that would be the northeast corner of Malden Park, for those of you who are familiar with Malden Park. And then they'll kind of pick up after they get those 2 kilometers in and get those next 6 kilometers to give you the 8-kilometer championship distance. Theodore, very early here, but what's going through these athletes' minds here early in the race?
Exactly. As you see right now, they're really pushing themselves. Great start to the race. They're going to the K9 loop. It's a very stable route to go through and you're able to push. But as we're looking from the monitor side of things, we're looking at perhaps Fanshawe that might be leading and followed by St. And they're really pushing themselves. I'm seeing a couple more St. runners in the background as well too. But again, this is a really good start to the race, and it's going to get a little bit more challenging. There's going to be more hills coming through. At this pace, it seems like the athletes are really just trying to make a good impression by leading and challenging themselves.
Yeah, and our monitors show their St. had the perfect score of 10 points. So hard to do. They were 1 through 4 at the ACAC Championships. They're out of Calgary. Southern Alberta Institute of Technology is what the St. acronym stands for. Fanshawe, very strong as well, ranked number 2 in the CCAC. You're seeing the top runners from the top 2 institutions, so no surprise to us here at the front. Matt Talbot, he won the Ontario Championships 2 weeks ago. He was the Rookie of the Year, obviously, the Athlete of the Year, obviously, in Ontario College Cross-Country, and battling out there. And look to see from St. there, we have Nathan Walesa was the Alberta champion, but also 5th place last year, his teammate Max Thiessen from St. So a very deep and strong roster there, and we'll see what the Falcons and the Trojans going head-to-head here at the battle here at Malden Park today. I would assume we're just past 1 kilometer now, and we can see our current race leader, and that is another athlete from St. there. So we have Mokar St. He was 4th at the Alberta Championship. So there you can see the depth of the St. team. This is their current leader. They have last year's 5th place in behind him and the Alberta champion in behind him still. So great running there. Great job by our crew in the booth. So thanks to them. That is Mokar St. of St. leading the way, and we think running in second from Fanshawe College, we believe is Matt Talbot.
Exactly, Andy. With St., they have this great runner named Nathan Waisa. He was the individual athlete of this year itself, and I believe he is with the top pack that's leading the race as well too. And what you're seeing is also a couple of Saints guys running next to each other as a group, and having one guy from Fanshawe, this might be a little bit challenging to be mentally.
Yeah.
Will he be able to keep up with them and be able to have the fortitude to keep going? And so this is a really exciting race. Great teamwork by St. But again, we'll see if Fanshawe can come back up and be able to lead the way again as well too.
For sure. And obviously, your top end athletes running well in the top 10 is super important, but we talked about this in the women's race, those battles we could see in the high teens, the 20s, the 30s, St. Fanshawe's, 4th runners, even look for St. Foy to Quebec to be in there, the very important battles go back through thing. Obviously, we have our athletes that want to get on the podium, and that's important. And then our athletes that want to be in the top 10 and get that all-Canadian honors and certificate. And then we get down in the point where we'll see those battles for those 3rd and 4th. The Mohawk women got on the podium, running tough in the 20s and the 30s in the women's race to go back through here. We're still probably, probably a little bit over a mile in the race, probably coming up close soon to 2 kilometers. Still relatively flat section here, so the athletes can run pretty fast here. I guess the one risk they run into here, Theodore, is if they go out too hard and then they start to struggle here, right?
Exactly, too, Andy. And, seeing by the looks of it from the monitor screen that St is doing a really great job. When you have a team with you of your same school and background, you're able to do great things. And that's what we're seeing here, that they're able to kind of push each other. They're able to support each other as well too. But we're also seeing a performance from our Fanshawe guy. He still hasn't fallen off.
Yeah.
He's still able to be persistent, keeping up with them, and we'll see if he's able to keep the same momentum going.
For sure. And just to highlight these state athletes, outstanding. Like, they're our Alberta champion. He was 17th in this race last year, Nathan Wessa of St. The Alberta bronze medalist was Max Thiessen. He was an All-Canadian last year, 5th in this event last year. Silver medalist Alberta Championships, Yarma. And then 4th, who was our current race leader. There's a good, strong pack of Collège St. So St really being aggressive here. Also, we talk about our Fanshawe athlete in there. We believe that's Matt Talbot of Fanshawe. There could be some interesting stuff going here. The St athletes, obviously want to win a team championship, which I guess is their first priority, but maybe trying to set this race up to make sure they sweep the podium as well. And you could see some definite team tactics here. I'm sure these guys have run many miles together back in Calgary and what they're going to do here today to maybe try to control the race and not let that Fanshawe guy break up their sweep on the podium.
Wow, and look at that Fanshawe guy. He's still hanging in there, Andy. Wow, it's a great performance by him. But again, look, St is looking very strong, being able to look forward, thinking, and they really want to win today.
Yeah.
And this what this race is about, is showing who will be able to win not only individual championship, but a team title as well,
right.
too.
Yeah.
And it looks like they might be on their way to doing that.
And this will be an interesting section right here. I'm kind of curious to see right here. So they're kind of coming down. If I'm correct with what I'm seeing in the course, a bit of a slight downhill. Then they're going to approach the large hill pretty soon. And they hit that large hill, then it's going to get to be, will this race break open? I mean, St has shown that they're strong as a team, you know what I mean? And what happens here, we're over, we're between the 2 kilometer and 3 kilometer mark of the race here. So still a lot of the race left, but from what I can see from my vantage point here on the monitor, they've opened up a strong distance there, those top 5 runners. And we saw Quebec dominance in the women's race. Maybe it's going to be the St dominance plus throw in an athlete or two here from Ontario. Maybe expect, though, maybe some of these Quebec athletes coming through are St. Foy, ranked number 3 on the men's side. Matt Talbot, we're seeing on the screen. He's in the top 5. He's the non-St guy there. Fanshawe Falcons out of London. But still, the St Trojans out of Calgary looking very strong here. Calgary is a great place to train as a distance runner that's at a slight altitude advantage there on the West Coast and gives them in the Rocky Mountains and gives them a chance to be a strong program. And Sador was talking about when St. Clair won back in 2018, a big battle with St. And again, when they were silver medalists in 2019. So a strong program for a long time. It looks like opening up a little bit there. We think that is St athlete Collège St, but we're not 100% positive. But very good running here. They'll be approaching 3 kilometers very soon, I would say, within the next minute or so. Fanshaw's there. Matt Talbot, the Ontario champion, Ontario Rookie of the Year, hanging in second place there, it looks like, or third place. And then the St athletes very close behind. You have Wessa, Thiessen, and Yama. And they were the top 3 podium guys. So even this guy, Collège St is leading, but he didn't get on the podium. The Alberta Championships, he got beat by 3 of his teammates. You can show you how strong the St Trojans team is, and they've been number 1 ranked in the country the whole year here for thing. And you can see it looks like it's Talbot running second, but then those 3 St athletes. And lots of racing can happen here. I know if you were here with the broadcast when we had our athletes sit down with us, Gabrielle from St. Foy, she talked about she wanted to come from off the pace on the second loop here, and we'll see the second half of the race. And maybe some of these St guys are like, hey, I'm going to settle in here a bit and try to strike hard here on the second half of the race. And we're through probably about just our 3 kilometers now. We'll hopefully try to get you a clock update. They'll come through our start finish area around the 5 kilometer mark and get you some official results. But very early on here, but looks to be all the St Trojans out of Calgary.
Yeah, indeed. And look at Nathan. He's really pulling a strong performance. And back in second place is Fanshawe, right? And again, Fanshawe has been doing well the past couple years, scoring points on the podium and winning and coming in the top 3 teams as well, too. And so as we look in here, is that we're seeing more of St still keeping up with the top pack, and we're seeing that the top pack is still further separating from the rest of the other runners, which is phenomenal. And
just to let people know, if you're familiar with Malden Park, if you're not here today, they're kind of making their way down the back corner. They're going to soon turn here. They might have just, our leaders, they're running so fast, might have made the turn. They're going to kind of come along the expressway section here in Malden Park. It is Matt Talbot of Fanshawe. He's kind of solidified himself now in second place. We do believe that St athlete, Collège St, 4th the Alberta Championships, is our leader. Those are your top top 2 athletes, but his 3 teammates, they all swept the podium at the Alberta Championships. Woessa, Thiessen, and Yarma, they're running right behind. So St. in a good section here. This is a good flat section here where you're kind of isolated. Not a lot of crowds back there. You're kind of in the isolated part of the course, as I would say. A few people you see out there, a few volunteers now, but this is a section where athletes can kind of, either make a move or maybe kind of get lost out there a little bit. We'll see what happens. They'll quickly they'll come in the start area, probably another couple minutes or so. But a good section out here for the athletes to push hard. And Talbot of Fanshawe is right up on his shoulder now. So we have a good battle going here as we approach, I'd say very close to the halfway point of the race here. I'd say we'll be hitting 4 kilometers within the next minute or so here. So it's already halfway done. I kind of have, 2 athletes establishing themselves, and then the 3 chase athletes, all from St. So St in a good position here. Fanshawe College, though, not to be overlooked, though. They won. They are ranked number 2 in the thing, and they were the Ontario champions, the Fanshawe Falcons out of London. So expect them to do well. They scored 19 points at the Ontario Championship. So we talked about 10 points being a perfect score. 19 points in a conference as deep as the OCAA is very competitive and very strong. So we'll look to see. We're also we'll get an update on some of the other athletes that are individuals and teams. We know Carter Free running for St. Clair College, your former teammate, Sador, a national silver medalist, Ontario champion. He won Ontario Championship on this course here at Malden Park, won a great silver medal out in Grand Prairie back in 2019, leading your team to a silver medal national championship. We'll see what he's like. He was away for the sport for a few years. He's had some injury issues, but I know he's rounding into form. I was talking to his coaches, Corey Belmore, Paul Boots, earlier this week, and looking to hopefully get in the top 10 and maybe grab another All-Canadian honor here for the Saints, we talked about it earlier, but St. Clair College has done an outstanding job hosting this event. I've been to many national and international cross-country races, CCAA events, university events, and just like second to none here, the preparation and the setup that St. Clair College has put into this along with the CCAA, and hopefully we can get they can get an athlete in the top 10 just to reward all their hard work and efforts, but nothing to be ashamed of. They've done a phenomenal job here, St. Clair College, in running this event. Here's a great drone footage just as kind of as they're making their way back towards the start area, which is in that corner of Malden Park by Matchett Road and the Expressway. You can kind of see a little bit of the Expressway there in your background if you're familiar with the Windsor area. And there it is, your 2 athletes are coming along. It looks like they've separated a bit from the other St. athletes, so still looks to be a strong team hold for St., but now we're getting our top 2 breaking away here, and we could see a great race here over the final, 3.5 kilometers. They won't be at 5 kilometers yet, but expect them to hit the 5 kilometer mark in probably under 16 minutes, maybe even 15, 20, 15, 30. They're coming around here behind the city storage area. They're going to have a quick uphill surge here, I believe, pretty soon here, and then you'll see them. Not the one I was running to, but they're coming right here they'll be off to our left right now, Sador. And just talk about what do you think's going on here? I mean, a little bit of cat and mouse here. What do you think's happening between these 2 athletes?
Yeah, it's really interesting watching this race, Andy. And you can see here we have Nathan leading the charge, followed by Matt following him and being on his shoulder. But we're also seeing the other States guys have just kind of fallen off. But they're still leading the race, as a team. But it seems like Matt is really trying to hang in there with Nathan because he knows if he doesn't and he falls off, that he might be going further, separating himself further. So he's really just trying to push himself, trying to stay there, and he's doing a really good job, and he has been doing that for the past number of kilometers.
And you can see your Trojans there running 3.45, so it's an absolute stranglehold on this team competition. This would be phenomenal. Even if the Fanshawe athlete was to win and St. scores 12 points or 13 points, phenomenal for national championship running. They're coming through here, I believe, very close to 5 kilometers. Like, they have the athletes come through the start-finish area now. There's Carter Free of St. Clair College. So Carter's hanging in the top 15, I believe. We might have missed a couple places there. Maybe he can challenge to get top 10. Paul Boots talked about he'd be just so happy to get him in the top 10 after being away from the sport for 5 years. And we're looking, these guys might be cutting through in 15 minutes, which would be outstanding running. Great job by our wee digital crew here. They got a time, they got multiple cameras out in the course. We're kind of seeing some athletes coming up as they enter the start area, but those are our top athletes have made their way out in the course for the final 3 kilometer loop, and it's just 50 minutes on the clock, so we're seeing some really good running here, Theodore. Like, we're seeing, I don't know if we're going to see someone get under 25 minutes, but I definitely think the low 25 minutes today could happen out there. And you see there on the screen, St. Trojans, 4 of the top 5. Wow. Fanshawe running very strong there. Matt Talbot, the lone Falcon in there, the Rookie of the Year in the Ontario Conference. He was the Ontario Conference gold medal, running well. Many other good individual and team battles. If you're just joining the broadcast, Obviously, there's podium medals up for grab. Top 10 is a huge honor in this race and all Canadian status. The top honor you can receive in collegiate sport. And then the team titles. You're looking at overall team titles. And there's also now with the women's race, there is a co-ed gender team title. So top 3 from each gender. So look for some of these Quebec schools. We saw Quebec dominate in the women's race, Garneau, St. Foy. And here we go. Here's a split. I believe this would be, I think this is 4 kilometers. So Nathan Wawesa is leading. Matt Talbot, Yael Jarman, Max Thiessen, and Mokar Sad. So those are your top 5. Then you have from Lennoxville, Charles Gendon Jetta. He was your top. He was 4th last year this event. Your top returner. Elliot Boulanger of Garneau, riding the success of the Garneau women. Francois Bouffard of St. Foy, Noah Forte of Sherbrooke, and Xavier St. Ange of Chicoutimi. And there's Carter Free right there, half a second of the top 10. So it'd be wonderful to see our St. Clair athlete, Carter Free from Napanee, Ontario. He was a athlete of the year here at the college. Won an Ontario Championship course, and for him to get in the top 10 after being away from the sport for 5 years would be just a great accomplishment for them and their program.
Yeah, and you can see too, Andy, in the results are being shown here on screen. We are seeing runners from Garneau being in the top 20 as well too.
St. Foy's got some athletes in there. They were ranked in the top 5 all year, top 3, I believe, in the final ranking. So the Quebec schools not in the top 5 individually, but still running very strong there in 5 through 20. Fanshawe College looks to be a little behind, but they've been ranked number 2 all year. You have Ty Breeden, one of their top runners there. Ethan Rocha. We'll see if maybe Fanshawe College, a little different strategy. Their top runner, maybe they're going to try to come from off the pace here in the second loop. But those are your top teams to look for. Obviously, St. Foy, Fanshawe College, Mohawk ran very strong in the provincial championships. Out east, it was Crandall University. But look to see what happens here. But not surprised me with their top team state, but maybe some strong runs here from the athletes from Quebec to get a couple men's teams on the podium, just like in the women's race.
Exactly. And we could also see a team performance by Garneau here as well. Let's not forget about them, as they've shown us in the women's team and what they've been capable of doing. And who knows, they might be able to finish in the top 3.
Yeah, and Garneau was second at the Quebec Championships behind St. Foy, and they were second in the team title last year out in Nova Scotia, Ontario, Nova Scotia, when Dalhousie hosted. So Garneau, an outstanding program here, not just in the RCSQ, but in the CCAA. Look for them to challenge. St. Foy, though, as having some good runners. They had a guy finish 4th at the Quebec Champs, Francois Bouffard. A couple other athletes from St. Foy were in the top 25 at this race last year. So you can't underestimate the national championship experience. That's what I'm going to talk about. Some of these guys from Quebec running well, some of these guys from St. and also even a Carter Free running well there. Being in this race, dealing with the nerves. So you talked about it in the women's broadcast. There's a huge mental aspect to all sports, especially long distance running, and seeing what can happen here.
Exactly, and I think today you're going to see some strong results and performances as well too, because the weather has been great compared to the past years. And even recalling some of my days when I was competing, the weather was astronomical. It was snowing. There was a blizzard going on.
Right.
The temperatures were
Grand Prairie was
cold.
minus 25 or something in Grand Prairie. Yeah,
exactly.
You guys were freezing out there. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
So with today's weather, we can definitely see some results being shown. But again, it's really about the mentality of each individual that's racing today.
Yeah, and just to highlight, I think it's just the job St. Clair has done. Obviously, they can't control the weather, but they've set this course up so the best athletes, it's super fair, can win. It's in such great shape. They've had to tweak their course, their normal traditional course, because of some city construction in the park. They've done a phenomenal job. Paul Boots and his coaching staff, Corey Belmore, Jimmy Stewart, Brittany Van Noof, and then along with Ted Beal and his athletics department staff here and the staff from the CCAA, just done a phenomenal job here. We're just under the 20-minute mark here of the men's race, so we're probably looking at, I think within 5 minutes we're going to have a winner here, in my opinion. St. running very strong on the top end, but just a great day. About 14 Celsius here the second Saturday in November. 100 participants, so we had 98 women's participants in 15 teams, 100 participants for the men, 16 teams, 8 kilometers here, and some stuff to be sorted out. I mean, looks to be St. in control, but are they going to get 1 or 2 medals? Are they going to sweep the medals? Fanshawe College, are their athletes going to move up to get them on the podium? St. Foy, Garneau, those are kind of the teams we're looking for to see here for the men's podium. As soon as we can get you any sort of updates on splits and results, we'll get them up here on the screen for our monitors. We appreciate everybody tuning in from all over the country. I know it's a little bit earlier on the West Coast out there, by tuning in and watching this great national championship hosted by St. Clair College and We Digital. Here's our earlier split from 4 kilometers. So we had seen this earlier. West of St., Talbot of Fanshawe, Yarma of St., Thiessen of St., Sade of St. And then we see our Quebec athletes trying to dominate the next few positions there. Guette, our top returning finisher. Last year, he was a 4th in this event last year, so you can see the competitiveness of this race. He's running very well here today, well under 12 minutes at 4K, and there he is in 6th. Elliot Boulanger of Garneau, Francois Bouffard of St. Foy, Noah Fortre, Sherbrooke, Xavier St. Ange, who had a very good run. He was the top finisher in the Quebec Championships. He, last year, or second, and then you have Carter Free right there in 11th place. So that hopefully Free away from the sport for 5 years, back now in the Chatham campus of St. Clair College, taking power line technician, and hoping maybe he can get himself back in the top 10 and be an all-Canadian again for St. Clair College. Our reports from out in the course are Nathan Wessa of St. Trojans is leading. We do believe, we'll try to get you updated as soon as possible, Matt Talbot of Fanshawe College, the Ontario champion, the Ontario Rookie of the Year. He's about 2 seconds back there, so we're getting great reports from out in the field. And then his teammates from St., Wes's teammates, we have Thiessen, Garma, and Sade. They're all running there. They were 2, 3, 4 at the Alberta Championships, and let's see what they can do here. Remarkable running. Talbot is an outstanding runner, won the Ontario Championships. Always a competitive OCA men's race to win that. We've seen some great athletes in the past win that. St. Clair College has had 2 past winners, Andrew DeGroot and Carter Free in the race today. So very competitive it always is at the Ontario Championships, but you can just see how strong these athletes are from St. in Calgary, the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology, and Matt Talbot of Fanshawe College, the Falcons out of London, hang in there very strong. They're coming along, just to give our viewers along I believe that you would say that's the west side of the park, right along the expressway portion here, kind of a quieter part of the park, usually not as many people. You see a few fans out there. We have a great crowd today. Then they'll kind of make a turn, head back towards the starters area, kind of behind the city's storage sheds, and then one final last push here to finish. You can see the expressway there in the background, and St. for the top 5 runners right now.
Yeah, and Andy, as you can see here, Nathan is definitely pulling away from Matt, and this again, they're getting closer to the finish line, and they will be soon. And Nathan has done a phenomenal job of just leading this race halfway, even earlier on as well too. And we can see Matt still holding on there, and we'll see who will be able to come down and finish strong.
Right, and just getting some updates out in the course. Still St. very strong on the top end. And we're just kind of making their turn here. You can see they're kind of coming along a gravel road section here. This is an area, the southwest corner, I believe you'd say, of the park, where the city uses for their storage and that. And then they're going to have a quick little uphill turn here, and then there's not much racing left. So we're seeing 23:20 on the clock. This is phenomenal running. I mean, we have perfect weather. It's a hard course. You can see this little challenging uphill here, and then Wessa of St., the Alberta champion, 17th in this race last year. So what an improvement for him here. I got to think, worst case, he's going to finish second. That looks to be Nathan Talbot of Fanshawe running in second. They're the number 2 ranked team. And then here's the strength. We should see any second here. The St. Trojans coming through here. Watch them make a turn here. Hopefully see a few more athletes from St. And that looks to be, we have another athlete's moved up in there. Maybe some athletes from, might be one of our athletes from the Quebec. We had running from St. Foy and that. So we'll see here as they sort it out, but they're going to be finishing here, coming along here, and West is only at 24 flat. So I expect him to be well under 25 minutes here. The finish line is right behind us here. There's Matt Talbot, and here he is coming in here. And what an outstanding run today. Look how strong he looks. 24-30. This is a hard course in Malden Park. Yes, it's in great shape, and yes, we have great weather, but 2 400-meter hills in this race, plus some other uphills. We're looking at a time here that's going to run, this be one of the faster winning times, I'd say, in the history of the CCAA. I got to think, I don't have all the stats in front of me right now, but we're looking at someone who's going to run, 24-30 unofficially. There he is, 24-25, an outstanding run. And there's our guys at Windsor Timing getting up there. Sean McFarland, the great job he does at Windsor Timing for us. But 24-25, an outstanding run. And that'd be one of the fastest times I think you've ever seen here in a CCAA championship for Nathan Wessa of St. College out of Calgary.
No, exactly. Phenomenal job done by Nathan. And I'm assuming that Matt is still in there and finished probably second.
Yeah.
As we can't see from the monitor itself, but we're seeing some other runners that are not St. that are also coming behind them.
And sorry to interrupt, Sador, but watch for some interesting team battles here. You know, some of these teams might come from off the pace. Some of those St. guys might have gone back a little bit. We'll get you some results as soon as I get up. I see some more athletes coming in here. But some of those schools from Quebec might have been a little more cautious. You saw Garneau talked about it in the women's race, about running a strong second half. And we'll look to see what happens here. There'll be some interesting battles coming in. St. Foy, Garneau. I haven't seen a lot of guys from Fanshawe in the top 10 or 12, so it'll be interesting to see how those guys make out. We have Carter Free of St. Clair College, you know, wondering how, you know, if he got himself in the top 10, a former All-Canadian national silver medalist here. Now, standing field, and this is great times here. We've seen a lot of athletes cross, and we're still even at 26 minutes on the clock. Well, there we go. Wow. Nathan Wessa, 24:25. Matt Talbot, 24:44. Last year, look at this. Look at that second half from Charles Gendron Guette. He was fourth last year, third this year. Max Thiessen of St. finishing fourth, and Xavier St. Ange, the Quebec champion of Chicoutimi, finishing in fifth. So you see the strength of Quebec. Elliot Boulanger, another strong second half. The strategy the Garneau women used to finish sixth. Noah Forte of Sherbrooke. You have Francois Bouffard of St. Those St. athletes faded there. St. and Yarmouth, they'll still win the team championship. So great running from those guys. An aggressive first loop from those athletes, especially from St. But that should get them 4 athletes in the top 10. Incredible running at this national championship. Even for their fourth athlete to run 25:19, that's a phenomenal time. You know, I talk about the winning time being fast. Carter Free of St. Clair College, what a great run for him, coming 11th. 5 years out of the sport and back in it. And he's had a little injury issues this year as well. So great to see him finish in there. Sheraton Colleges, Carl Olivier there. So I think Free was, the second Ontario athlete across the line. So pretty good for him, because I believe at the Ontario Championships, Free finished sixth. So he really improved upon his finish there. I see another St. Clair athlete just finishing there, Malene Kaloff. He's from nearby Assumption, so he went to high school just about a kilometer away from here. He was 11th at provincial championships, so a strong run for him. Kind of seeing the rest. Garneau looks very good. Even Lennoxville, Champaign, Lennoxville, some athletes. It'll be interesting to see if they get those team results to them. Another Garneau athlete in the top 18. So Quebec is very strong in the team race here. There's Ethan Roche, Fanshaw's second athlete, coming 19th.
Exactly, too, Andy. And, you know, we're seeing some more results coming down from teams from Ontario. We're seeing Mohawk. We're seeing Garneau with Samuel Ballou. We're seeing school from Halifax with Dally House, St. Jerome, St. Foy. Great times again around the 26 mark minutes. We're seeing some more schools. You know, they're coming from diverse regions across the country as well too. But again, congratulations to the States for really working together, you know, throughout this race, and being led by their first runner as well too. Definitely a great job, and followed by Fanshawe with Matt. I'm interested to see this team result. Obviously, we can unofficially predict State's going to be our national champions, and hopefully we'll get to talk to one or two of their athletes over here at the broadcast booth in a second. But Sador, can be very interesting here. Some of these Quebec schools ran very well, especially in the of course the entire race, but especially in the second half. And see about St. Foy, see about Garneau. I don't know if Fanshawe is going to get themselves on the podium, to be honest here, you know. And we'll kind of see even where St. Clair finishes, you know, or for a host institution. It'd be great for them to get themselves into the top 10 or even the top 8. But really some strong running, you know, obviously from your athletes from Alberta. And we'll interested to see what happens here in the team race here. And there's another one of our St. Clair athletes finishing there, so cheering him on there. That's great. I believe that's Wesley Hearn, if I'm correct. And the rest of them coming in here. So lots of great running. These athletes still running well under 30 minutes, which is hard to do. You go out there and run 8 kilometers in 30 minutes, especially on a hard course like this here at Malden Park. And here's their, actually, I think that was Wesley Hearn of St. Clair just finishing now. So we're getting all the results up here. We're trying to give every athlete their result. If you're following, you know, loved ones or friends back home, you can see where they're at. We're getting our top 40, top 45 results up here right now. As soon as we can get you some team results, when they get calculated, they have to be double checked by the officials. But once we'll get those out there for you. Unofficially, though, you know, Theodore, the State Trojans out of Calgary, you know, Southern Alberta Institute of Technology having a great run. I think it's kind of wide open after that for the other 2 spots on the podium. You know, obviously Fanshawe is an athlete second there, but, you know, St. Foy, Garneau, be interesting to see what comes in there for their athletes, you know. And Garneau, if you were with us earlier today, they won their 3rd consecutive women's championship. So great for Garneau, and maybe they get a men's team on the podium, and then maybe even to win that. I got to think Garneau's got to be the leader right now for the co-ed gender competition. You know, they had 3 athletes in the top 5 for women and a couple more men in the top 10. So we'll see how that sorts out. A new competition this year. They take the top 3 women from each institution, the top 3 men from each institution, and add them together.
I don't know if St. I think St. only had one woman in the individual race. I don't think St. will be eligible to win that because they obviously had some strong running from their men. We'll see about Fanshawe College. We see some more athletes coming in right now. There's an athlete from Humber. Looks like an athlete from Conestoga, and more athletes finishing right here. So we're just over 30 minutes right now in the women's race. We're hoping, I'm just looking over my shoulder here now, they're going to bring us over athletes from St. We'll try to get you some interviews. We had 2 athletes from Garneau College on with us earlier. Unofficially, they're showing them on the monitor right now. Hopefully we can get them over here. Nathan Wessa, we get them over here for an interview. The St. Trojans out of Calgary, the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology, a perennial powerhouse in the CCAA. His teammates ran very well. They had 4 athletes in the top 10. From Fanshawe, the Rookie of the Year, Fanshawe Falcons out of London, I'm just checking, sorry here, Matt Talbot, their top runner. Well, hopefully we can talk to some of these athletes over here. I believe most of our guys are finished now. You're getting a great drone shot. You can just see the setup here that St. Clair College did today. Ted Beal and his staff, phenomenal job. The fencing, it just looks like a high-caliber international event, which it is, but just giving it the credit it deserves. Lots of great things out here today. Lots of people made this event possible, and We Digital bring it to you here on the live broadcast, but really happy to be a part of it, Theodore, and hopefully we can get a couple athletes over here for interviews and get you some team results. I know in cross-country, it's not like a basketball game. The game ends, we know exactly who wins. We want to see, obviously we can safely predict Theodore. There's the Detroit skyline there in the background, just about, a couple kilometers here from our location at Malden Park in Windsor, and if we can get a couple interviews, that would be great. But a phenomenal day of racing here. We saw earlier in the women's race, an outstanding dominating performance from Garneau. There's Carter Free. Just missed an all-Canadian finish, but still a great run for Carter coming 11th. 5 years away out of the sport. And Sador, talk to us about Carter. He's a former teammate of yours, and just what kind of stuff he brings to the table.
Yeah, Carter is a phenomenal athlete. He still is, and I still look up to him. Even when when we came second at Nationals back in 2019, he was really a great teammate, great person to learn from, to be able to push yourself. He always led during practices, even during races as well too. Very forward thinking, able to just really dominate back in 2019, and so he did a phenomenal job. And today, although he was shy away from being in the top 10 all-Canadian, he did do a good job, considering he hasn't ran for 5 years.
Yeah.
To be able to come back and do this is just phenomenal again too.
And we're just seeing the large crowds here, the great drone footage from We Digital. We're hoping to get a couple athletes over here for an interview. I know they're working. It's very tough after these races. These athletes are exhausted. Their coaches want to talk to them. They want to celebrate together, but we're hoping to maybe get a couple of our St. Trojans over here, maybe our athlete from Fanshawe College. Unofficially, though, St. was first? They were 9th and 10th. Was their second runner? We believe he was 4th. Eh?
4th. That's right.
So a phenomenal, dominating performance, very similar to what we saw out of Garneau College on the women's side. And we're just getting some great pictures here. We see some athletes embracing a very emotional time for some of these athletes. This might be their last collegiate competition. So exhausted physically and emotionally. Great performances here. The park is in phenomenal shape. They've just done such a phenomenal job here at St. Clair College. Ted Beal and his staff, Paul Boots, and we're really just really happy to bring in this broadcast. We're hoping to get some athletes. We do believe we have one of our St. Trojans. We're going to bring him over here and grab a seat and sit down here. And we're going to talk to him. An outstanding run here. And we're just getting the headset on. There's Crandall University, getting a picture of them on our monitor. But I'm really happy to be joined here by Nathan Wessa. Am I saying that right, Nathan? Am I saying your name right? Out of Calgary, the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology. You're national champion. You won the You won the Alberta Championships 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just talk to us about the race today. What was going through your head coming in, and what were you thinking as the race developed out there today?
It was definitely a lot faster going into the race than ACAC. I was trapped in the back a bit, and I didn't want to lose the front, so I did spend a lot of time going around people. And when I got to the front, I didn't know if we were going to keep that pace, so I was a bit concerned there.
Right.
I decided to make my move when I was sort of like beside, I think, Yahe, and they kind of slowed down a bit. And once I'm in the lead, I don't want to, I'm just going to take charge the entire race. And about 3K left to go, I was unsure of how the race would end up because I knew one of the Fanshawe guys was behind me, and he was going strong. I was
the Ontario champion, Matt Talbot, who's had a good season. And we talked about the women's race. The course is in phenomenal shape. We've hardly had any rain. It's very hard. It's a hard course, a couple big hills in it, but I think one of the fastest times I've ever seen in a CCAA championship, well under 25 minutes. And just quickly about the team aspect, you guys dominated. You won. You had, I think your second runner was around 4th or 5th, then 9th and 10th. So a dominating performance for you guys. You've been ranked number 1 all year, but just talk to us about your team and how exciting it is for unofficially. I can't declare it yet, but unofficially for you guys to be the team champions as well.
I'm very happy about that. I know last year we were missing some of the top guys like Yahya Mokhtar, but I knew that coming into the race we had a very strong team. I was very happy with that. Nobody got injured, none of that. And I was very confident in our team winning, and I'm very glad how that turned out.
For sure, and just look at you were 17th last year, so what an improvement. I also just have been told by my producer it's your birthday today, so what a birthday present to win a national championship and to win 2 national championships. You won the individual and then also win a team championship, so a pretty exciting birthday for you here in the Windsor-Essex County area. And congratulations again, Nathan. Outstanding performance. Congratulations to your entire teammate at St, all your teammates at St, and your coaches and everything. Phenomenal job, and good luck. Maybe we'll see you at a future national championship, but congratulations, and I hope we're going to bring in another athlete here to talk to. So once again, happy birthday and a double national championship day for Nathan. Okay, and we're joined here with one of our athletes from St. Clair College, Noah Nicolaides. So Noah, thanks for joining us here on the broadcast. I know it's tiring. And we're an interesting story. Noah, you're only wearing one of your shoes, so when did you lose your shoe in the race?
I lost it about right up the top of the hill at the start, that first little shoe. Okay,
so we're talking you ran over 7.5 kilometers in one shoe then. So
around there.
What a gutsy performance. How's your foot feeling then?
Pretty sore, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and just talk about, I know you guys had a bit of injuries this year with your college, but with your team at St. Clair, this is our host institution for those of you that are joining in with us, but just talk about, being in a national championship here in your backyard, how exciting it is for you guys and your teammates.
Super exciting. It's an honor to be here. I know not everyone gets to experience this level of event, so I think I'm very grateful to be here. My team is with me,
Yep.
It's just a great experience, It's definitely going to be memorable.
Well, that's great, and I was saying earlier in the broadcast multiple times with a former Saints alumni, Theodore Teckley, just what a phenomenal job St. Clair College has on hosting this event. Ted Beal, Paul Boots, the entire staff. And there's a picture. There's your time up there on the board, Noah, if you want to get your official time. I know it's always important for runners we're talking here. But to run under 29 minutes in one shoe and outstanding accomplishment. But what a great job. If you can see, hopefully you can see on the broadcast, is the effort, the detail St. Clair College has put in this event is just phenomenal, and a great national championship. I think we're going to bring in one more interview, Noah, so go get some medical on your foot. Enjoy yourself today, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good job. Yeah. And I believe we're going to bring in Carter Free of St. Clair College. A great story here about Carter Free. He was back in 2019. He won the. I'm just going to let him sit down. He's a tall athlete. I'm sure he's exhausted. His legs are sore. So throw the headset on. Thanks, Carter. Carter's from Napanee, Ontario, but he runs for the Saints. In 2019, he won the provincial championship on this course. Silver medalist of the national championships. Your coach was telling me today, I've heard a lot of great things about you, Carter. Out of the sport for 5 years, back in the Powerline Technician course at the Chatham campus. What a gutsy run today. You're only, I don't mean this rudely, 6th of provincial championships, but you come 11th in the nationals. Just tell me about what happened today.
Well, I've just been slowly progressing throughout the season, slowly and surely improving more and more. Back in 2019, I won the silver at nationals, so to come 11th, and I never thought I'd really be back here again doing what I'm doing, so it's really just amazing, and I have a lot of great support systems to thank for that.
Yeah, and who would be some of your support systems you mind sharing with us here on the air right now?
My girlfriend, Madeline Bergeroff. My parents, they came out 6 hours just to come watch this race. So
okay.
And my coaches too, they really helped push me back into it. Corey Belmore, Paul Boots. Just great coaches, great support system.
Yeah, no, and I know Paul Boots is 10 years at the helm here of this program, has done a great job. National championships, national runner-ups, and then just to see, but what a performance. I know Paul Boots, when I was talking earlier today, was like, God, I'd love to get free in the top 10, but you can't be disappointed. 25:39 on this course, a hard course, coming 11th. And I hear you got one more year left, a 2-year program in the Powerline Tech. So I know you guys had some injuries this year, so it'd be great to see St. Clair. It's great to see this program on the forefront in the CCA challenging again. So congratulations, Carter. An outstanding job. I think we're going to bring in Paul Boots right now, your coach, but great job out there today, Carter. Enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll look forward to seeing you next year running for the Saints as well. So good job.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And just getting set up here. One of the many men that made this event possible today, Paul Boots. He's done a great job.
Thanks, Andy.
10 years on the job, I believe. This is his 10th year in the program, St. Clair College, and they've won many. He's just getting set up here. He's tired. He's chased his athletes around, let him catch his breath. And he's probably been here since 5 o'clock this morning.
It was for sure.
Yeah, here all night. But Paul, just quickly before we talk about your team, let's just talk about this event. I've been at many international, national cross-country championships. It's just a phenomenal setup here. Can you just talk about what you guys have done as a program here at St. Clair College to make this event possible?
Yeah, well, it's a lot of work for sure. It's St. Clair College has been outstanding organizing the whole thing. Myself and 3 other coaches, we had to design the course. There were some changes on the back. And then, that was a bit of a battle, but the City of Windsor has been wonderful. They've helped us roll some parts of the course. They've cut the grass. They've done basically anything we've asked them to do. So I got to give the City of Windsor tons of credit for really, really stepping up and helping us out. Other than that, it's certainly a community event. We have lots of volunteers. The cross-country program here in the City of Windsor is outstanding. We have a lot of coaches helping. They were at critical spots, as you know, where you need critical people.
Right.
So, it certainly is a community event, and everyone has been great. And today was a special day for sure.
Yeah, the weather in the second Saturday in November. Quickly about your performance. Let's start with your women. I know a lot of injuries, which is part of the nature of any sport, such as cross-country running, but Victoria Horban, I believe, was 31st. Just maybe quickly talk about her performance today for our viewers out there at the Saints.
Yeah, it was great. There's a lot of stiff competition. She ran well. Obviously when you know the course, it certainly helps. And she ran great. Some of the other girls ran great too. We were, like I said, we were dealing with a lot of frustration and injuries the whole season. The girls still only had 5 girls run. Supposed to have 6, but we were just riddled with injuries right out of the gate, which was a tough break. You can't really do much about it. Sometimes it's just the way it is. We've been healthy for years, and today just wasn't our year for health. But Tori ran great, Cameron ran great, the whole team ran great. Melody, Emerson, Kendra, it was a super job.
Yeah, and good to see them get to run in their own backyards and
for
at
sure.
a national championship. Quickly, 2 of your men. I'm going to start first. I had them on the broadcast. Noah Nicoliti ran with 1 shoe from majority of the race. Just talk about that kind of gutsy performance from one of your athletes there.
Yeah, that was certainly a special effort for sure. And he was 28 minutes something. Like, it's an excellent time. With 2 shoes, let alone with 1 shoe. I know the community really helped him out and supported him along the way. We've had people all over the course. Not easy to do for an 8K course, but there was people everywhere. And I got to give, if there was a fair play award today, it would certainly go to Noah.
For sure. And then I've talked lots in the broadcast about Carter Free. He had 5 years away from the sport. He was a former Ontario champion for you here at the Saints.
Right.
National silver medalist, led the team to a national silver medal performance out in Grand Prairie. But he's been 5 years out of the sport, and you know him better than anybody. But to run 25:39 today in this challenging course and just miss an All-Canadian certificate, please talk about Carter Free and his contribution to your program in that.
Oh, unbelievable. So when he showed up in August, like you said, he hadn't run in years, so he had to cram for an essay on November 9th. And cram he did. Right out of the gate, he tried so hard in early September, he ended up having a strained piriformis, so he had to take 2 weeks off. And he really couldn't afford those 2 weeks off when you're trying to cram in 10 weeks for something you haven't done in 5 years, which just tells you how good he really is, because he really pulled that time off in more or less 7 or 8 weeks of training. And
phenomenal time.
It was incredible. Today he really stepped up. I don't know if he was second provincially or not.
I think he was. So he was 6th at the out of my he
was
Talbot.
6th.
Yeah, so he beat 4 guys that beat him 2 weeks ago.
Incredible.
And I just think the quality of the field, I think, is one of the fastest overall winning times I've ever seen at a CCA championship. I've been following the sport for 15 years. And then to see a kid come 11th and run 25:39
unheard of
is really good. So
on a tough course,
as we know, and this Malden Park course, it's fair, it's good footing, but it's still a hard course. So great job. So congratulations, not just to your team performance, but just to the organizational staff. I know
thanks a
Ted
lot.
and all you guys at the college in conjunction with the CCAA. Just a phenomenal national championships. I still know there's the awards later on this afternoon, but congratulations, Coach Boots, and everything you've done here at St. Clair
Thanks
College.
a lot, Andy. I appreciate it. Thank you
Great to
very
have you on
much.
the broadcast,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, We Digital. It's been great. Thank you so much.
And we're just going to get, we got our top 10 results up here. I'm going to bring Sador back in, an alumni of St. Clair College for us. We have our top 10 here. We're showing our men's championship. Now here we go, our top 10. So, Sador, maybe just, we talked about this a lot. We had Nathan West on here. It's his birthday today. 2 national championships. What performance for him? Matt Talafancio. But then you can kind of see these Quebec athletes, a strong second half, and maybe just talk about some of them. Charles Gagnon-Guette coming in third there. What do you... just talk about some of these other athletes here in the top 10. These are your all Canadians are shown on the screen right now.
Yeah, exactly. As you can see here, we got 4 of Saint's athletes in the top 10, right? As we saw earlier today, they did a phenomenal job of just working together as a team, and with Nathan leading the way as well, too. And again, we have Matt, who also did a great job as well, too, being able to be behind Nathan for that entire course. So, phenomenal job. And also, we saw Elliot Langer from Garneau, being able to creep into top 10 as well too. Yeah, right.
And We Digital's gives great stats here. 25-19th is 10th place. Like, that's phenomenal. 24-25 to win. Even to get in the podium, you had to be under. Guys broke 25 minutes. They didn't get on the podium. And you're seeing the results here. We're hoping to get the team results very soon. They just need to be verified. Unofficially, St. College should be our champions. Oh, here they go. And great job by our staff here in the booth. St. College 20 points at a national championship. Like, that is unheard of in my opinion. 1, 4, 5, 7. Oh, they just switched back to the individual results. Hopefully, we can get them back on the team results here. I'm very curious to see who was second and third. We're on our overall results here. We've highlighted those a lot. Hopefully, get back to our top 10. Be interested to see about St. Foy. I don't know if Fanshawe was able to get in there. Also interested to see where our host St. Clair College Saints finished up here. These are our individual. Here we are. Oh, here we go. So Garneau got second. Their women won. They got second. So I'm going to unofficially think they'll win that co-ed. St. Foy, like I talked about. There, Sador got third. Fanshawe College finished fourth. They were ranked number 2. Champlain-Lennoxville fifth. Conestoga, St. Jerome, Mohawk, and there the St. Clair College Saints get in the top 9. So get in the top 10. John Abbott College out of Montreal 10th. So those are your top 10 team results. Once again, an amazing dominating performance by the Saints. Finishing all their athletes in the top 10. Garneau getting in there, and then St. Foy. So the Quebec schools doing a great job. Just to highlight here before we cut off. Second national championship of the day for We Digital and St. Clair College, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. The Okanagan Sun will be at Acton Stadium to play the St. Clair College Saints in the Canadian Junior Football League Championships. Please tune back into We Digital. We'll be happy to bring you that broadcast. 2 national championships in one day here in the city of Windsor. We'd like to wrap it up. It's been a phenomenal day, Sador. Thanks for working with you. Thanks to all the guys in the booth and the crew here at We Digital. Thank you to Ted Beal and Paul Boots and the crew here at St. Clair College. A great day of running, a great national championship on both the men's and the women's side. And tune in for the football game tonight. Take care, everybody.
Exactly. Well done. Thank you, Andy.